1, 2, 3.
Hello and welcome to Kayfabe Is Dead Podcast, Episode 8. I'm your host, the voice of the youth, Christian, and today we will be discussing this week of WWE and my thoughts on the Fastlane card coming up. I will give my predictions for those, and also a little bit of wrestling news I thrown in there as well. We have a topic that I kind of want to talk about for a little bit, so let's get right to it. How you guys been? I've been pretty good myself. I can't complain. A little bit of love-hate relationship with this week of wrestling. It had an episode of Raw that I didn't like too much, then an episode of Smackdown I absolutely love, so it's hard. Some days I'm really watching and I'm like, yo, maybe one day I'll fall out with this product like I did before, and then it follows up with a great day of wrestling, and it's just like, all right, maybe I'm not going to fall out with it. You know what I mean? It's just very love-hate, but nevertheless, I think this might be a long episode, so prepare to strap in, get ready. I don't know how you guys listen to this, whether it be working out, whether it be at your job or on the bus or doing this or that, studying, whatever the case may be. Prepare for an episode that might be leaning an hour and 10 minutes. I'm just warning you, if it doesn't get that far, then more the merrier. I don't really like to do long episodes just because I don't want to keep people's attention span past their. I don't want to keep people's. You know what I mean. I don't even know how to describe it, but whatever. So I'm gonna start off with my Raw thoughts, my Monday Night Raw thoughts, coming from Oakland, not Oakland. I forgot what city it was from, but let's start that off by saying it was a city that didn't give much of a great reaction to everything. They started off hot like always, but I mean, nevertheless, it might be because of the show quality in itself, but I'll explain that later during one segment, which I didn't like the crowd at all. Now, if you guys are just looking to hear my Fastlane predictions, I would say skip to around the 20 mark. I don't know where it's going to be exactly, but it's going to be right after my Raw review. So with all that being said, let's get right into it. Now I got to find out where Raw was from. So let me look that up, actually. I know. Damn, not Oakland. I want to say it's not a place. It's definitely not even in California. It reminded me, I don't know the name of the city. Let me see if I can find it. See where it came from. Come to this show. In Green Bay. I don't know how I got Green Bay and Oakland confused. I think what I did is I thought of the Oakland Athletics uniform, and then I thought of the Green Bay Packers uniform, so I kind of got those colors confused. I think that's exactly what it was, because this is like the third time I did it. Like, I was going over my notes, and I was like, from Oakland. No, damn, it's not from Oakland. I remember it's from Green Bay, so I had to look that up, but thank you guys for bearing with me for that one. Let's start it off. So the show started with Goldberg coming out, cutting a promo, saying that, you know, he's going to win the championship and take the championship to WrestleMania and defeat Brock Lesnar for another time, because, you know, he does have 2 victories over him now, and not including a Royal Rumble elimination very early on, but, you know, gives a very good Goldberg promo. He's really, once again, I talked about it before, he's becoming a great talker. I don't really remember him too much when I was watching back then, you know, voice of the youth. Like, I didn't hear any of his WCW promos. I seen his WWE promos, but even then, I just thought it was kind of average, to say the least. But now his promos seem pretty good to me. So, I mean, one of the better part-time runs that we've seen these part-timers come back, and like Sting, for example. And, you know, Sting had a okay run. I would say it was disappointing for what he could have done, but also they did get him damn near the same age as Goldberg, and Sting isn't a character that could just come in and demolish you in 2 minutes. You know, he's a great wrestler. He's a better wrestler than Goldberg, who can put on a better match than Goldberg. Goldberg is really just a 5-minute man, if that, and that's really all he could do and all he's capable of. But nevertheless, while he was doing his promo, KO comes out, Kevin Owens, and then he lists his accomplishments, says how he beat John Cena his first month in the WWE, how he beat Roman Reigns, how he beat, I want to say, Seth Rollins, and Sami Zayn. He named all his accomplishments, and he was like, Goldberg, you're next in the evolution of Kevin Owens. And this is the badass Kevin Owens we've been dying to see, the badass from NXT. And it kind of sucks that he's on his badass run, as it looks like he's fading away with that championship and will no longer have it come Mania. And it's sad to see that they want to push his character into the development that he should have been in for the past. When he had it the day after was Survivor Series. I don't remember exactly when he beat when he won the Fatal 4, where it was right after. Oh, was it right after SummerSlam? Wow, might have been right after SummerSlam. But yeah, so with the 6 months with titles, however long it was, he's been built like, the average WWE heel, the chicken shit heel, and now he's built as a badass as soon as it looks like he's about to lose the title. So that's disappointing, but a good way to start the show nevertheless. And unfortunately, I just thought it was good. I didn't think this was anything great, but unfortunately, due to the quality of this whole show, it's one of the highlights of it. So take that for what it is. New Day versus Rusev and Jinder Mahal. I'm not talking about it. I did not talk about it last week. I don't think I talked about it the week before. I am not going to talk about the New Day in pointless ass segments. That's not what I'm going to do, because I was a big fan of New Day. I wish I was doing this podcast back then so you guys could knew how much I loved the New Day. Like, literally, I was a big fan. I loved all their promos. Even when people thought they were getting annoying, I still held on to them and I still liked them. So now to see them doing absolutely nothing on the brand, going with Rusev and Jinder, no, these matches are so pointless and it's so stupid, and I don't understand why Rusev and Jinder are a team. It's not doing anything for Rusev. It's not doing anything for them. If I was them, I would have probably, they could do it in the future as well. They don't have to be a tag team. I wouldn't mind them all as single acts, but still as the stable. And I wouldn't mind them eventually being in the main event scene, even fighting for the title. Maybe, all right, listen, maybe we don't want to draw it to a main event scene. That's okay. How about the United States belt? Focus that they all want a piece of the championship and, they're willing to fight for it. And you don't even have to break them up then. You could still have a great-ass triple threat that damn near is main event caliber. And I wouldn't mind seeing it as a main event for the United States title. And you could have them fight for that and not break up at the end. They could still be the dominant stable that they were before if they're booked as that. But I just don't like the direction they're going in now. And even if you want to do that, what I just said with the United States belt, put it on Kofi or Big E or Xavier Woods. It doesn't matter who you put it on exactly. But maybe then, if you do want to break the team up, you could do it from that. Somebody gets jealous. And, there's always possibilities they could do. And I think at one point they had the caliber of doing I'm putting on such an epic quality match, an epic story match of the caliber of the Shield match, if you understand what I'm saying. That's what I think, and it's been disappointing, and I hope that some two people come back and they have a feud with the New Day. I'll save that for the end of my show. Next up, we had Akira Tozawa in the first hour of Raw. Once again, good for him. I liked what they're doing with him so far. And he beat Noam Dar with his beautiful snap German suplex. I like the way he maneuvers around the ring. If I could give him one compliment besides, he got very nice strikes. The way he maneuvers around the ring, he's very swift and he's very... he is very on point with everything. Like the way he slid under Noam Dar's legs, came from the back. I just like all his movements in the ring. After he won the match, Brian Kendrick did come out, did attack him. I like it. It's still the same thing, building on the Brian Kendrick and Akira Tozawa feud, which I have no problem with, leading into the 6-man tag team match at Fastlane, which I will give my predictions to in a few minutes, actually, because I'm really not going to waste my time talking about this Raw, to be honest with you, because the only time I can see myself wasting is criticizing it. So if you guys want to hear me criticize it, stay in tune, because there's not much better from here. All right. Next up, we had, throughout the whole show, actually, it was Mick Foley really being teased that he's going to lose this GM position and not really caring about it anymore. From Stephanie, from Samoa Joe, from everybody. He's not getting the respect. And he had a segment with Samoa Joe basically saying, if you're not going to respect me as a GM, then you're going to respect me as a legend, because that's what I am. He basically said, fuck all this GM shit. I'm still a legend at the end of the day, and that's something that you got to respect, whether you like it or not. I like that from him, but throughout the whole... I don't like bantering Mick Foley the whole thing. If they're going to cut him off. And if they are teasing, him losing his GM spot by Mania or after Mania, I don't think you have to do it so heavily. At this point, it's not a tease. It's basically just like pushing it down our throats that he's going to lose his spot as the GM. And it's not doing anything for me. Like, it's really not. I'm sorry. But we had the Charlotte and Dana Brooks match versus Bayley and Banks. So at first, they had a promo segment in front of it. Nothing too crazy to quote about. Charlotte was discussing how she thought Bayley was better than that, and she's supposed to be this idol, and blah blah blah. It was Sasha Banks had a stupid face at Charlotte chant going. I wrote that in my notes. That's how bad this show was. I had to put that in my notes. A stupid ass chant like that. Nevertheless, Charlotte didn't even have Dana Brooke fight in the match. She has the power to call Nia Jax and have her substitute for Dana Brooke, because obviously Dana Brooke isn't a good wrestler at all. But to have Nia Jax, this monster, just come in for Charlotte and be at like her will call and call me, need me if you want to beat me, Kim Possible reference. Like, I don't know how I feel about that with Nia Jax. Because I feel like Nia Jax should be this monster who doesn't listen to nobody, who doesn't care about anybody's opinion. Now, why would you just go join a fellow woman, a fellow contender, nevertheless, and join her when she isn't even champion or anything like that? It's not like she has any benefits towards her. I just don't see logic behind it. I guess you can consider that a complaint. But as far as the match goes, another solid match from the woman. Once again, Sasha Banks, I love her moveset. I love those double knees. I love the way she wrestles. Honestly, out of all the wrestlers in the ring, the one I'm probably least not interested in, but like, I don't know, moveset I'm least interested in is probably Bayley, to be honest. I think that's an unpopular opinion, but an opinion nevertheless. It was a very quiet match from the crowd. Nobody was into it, really. Dana did, I seen it on Twitter, Dana tried to grab, I think it was Bayley's leg, and she learned so little from the development that she couldn't even do that. Like, the heel grab somebody's leg when they're running the ropes or whatever, when you press O if you have a PS4, when you press O in the WWE games, then you kind of distract them and whatever the case is. At the end of the day, Nia Jax gets the pin over Bayley after a leg drop, and Champ is pinned once again. I mean, I guess that's her character, Bayley, to be weak. It's kind of hard with a character like that. Like, should she get the win over Nia Jax, or should she pin Charlotte? I don't know in this situation who could you pin that could be benefited. Probably Sasha Banks could probably pin the best right now. And after that, there was a match announced by Stephanie, Sasha versus Nia Jax once again at Fastlane. To see who won that, we'll find out. I'm going to keep doing that little tease, that. And you'll find out next on Dragon Ball Z. But I never even watched Dragon Ball Z, to be honest. That was never really in my childhood. Next up, we had Braun Strowman asking for a contract signing. The logic behind this, I don't know. Kind of pointless. It's not like a championship is on the line or anything on the line for that case to be a contract signing needed. But one thing I kind of took from this, not took from it, I saw it and I ran with my own idea. What if we made Braun Strowman into like this powerful monster that's also really smart? Almost like if you guys are into comics and you know the character of Bane. Almost like that, because Bane is like a big monster. He's huge, but he's also a genius. We always have these dumb monsters in WWE. Great Khali, Big Show played the dumb funny monster for a long time. What if we put some brains behind these monsters? And that's how we book Braun Strowman. Like a very strategic and smart monster. Like, I feel like we could have a whole new take on what a monster is, and it could really be something great and something that we never seen before. So that was just my thought. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that? Because I think it's a cool idea. I feel like has there ever been anything like that? If there has, let me know, because I can't really recall off the top of my head. Next match we had was Cass versus Gallows. Big Cass versus Luke Gallows. Oh, God, this feud. I don't want to talk about this either. It's this whole show I don't want to talk about. Wait till we get into SmackDown. I'll be much more energetic and passionate and everything else. But what can I say? Cass won with a big boot after, I think, Anderson took out Enzo. Enzo keeps playing like this almost kind of luggage that Cass has to carry. And it's becoming like that, you know. Every time Enzo gets into something with his mouth, he's like, well, we got this. And then, you know, he fades into black and Cass comes into the shadow again. Into the shine once again, I'm sorry. But yeah, so Cass was distracted with that, but eventually ended up getting the big boot. Following match, once again, not going to talk about it at all. Titus O'Neil versus Sheamus. What a match. Bro kick, Sheamus won in a few seconds. Is Sheamus back on the map? Because he actually got a reaction to a win, and it was no boos. I mean, obviously he's with a very face of a partner right now with Cesaro, but I think this tag team actually put Sheamus back on the map. Even when he was champion, he really wasn't anything. Now he's kind of got his name value up and his credibility up. And although I think it kind of took away from Cesaro, even though it gave him something to do, it kind of took away from Cesaro. This tag team did do great wonders for Sheamus, so I give him that. Then we had what I thought was the most disappointing segment of the day. And not disappointing because of any wrestler involved. Disappointing because of this goddamn crowd of not Oakland, Green Bay. If you're from Green Bay, I'm sorry. If you were at the show, were you part of this ridicule of chants and garbage that they were producing? We had Rollins do his interview. Can he make it to WrestleMania? And it was supposed to be his most like babyface, empathetic, sympathetic promo possible, you know, emotional, tears flowing down the face. And as he's saying, you know, it doesn't look like the doctors are going to clear him for Mania, we get CM Punk. Why the hell are you guys chanting CM Punk? I get it. You guys want to, you know, be smarks and come at the WWE headquarters and the people backstage, but don't do that during Seth Rollins. Who is a babyface. If you want to do that during the damn Rusev and New Day match. Do it during that time. Don't do it during Rollins, basically, who had another emotional injury which could leave him out, or could have. At this case, we found out he will be at WrestleMania, but it could have left him out of WrestleMania for the second consecutive year. That's kind of heartbreaking if you really think about it. And we're over here got people chanting CM Punk in the crowd and stupid ass chants that I don't want to hear while watching this product. And at this point, I understand why WWE would silence some crowds at this point. I wouldn't have. It took away from the segment, and it really shouldn't have. And it's kind of hard for it not to, because you're trying to get emotionally invested, and then you hear that nobody else is. That's my take on that. But, you know, he does say that he won't make it to Mania, at least in the beginning. But then Triple H comes out with Samoa Joe at ringside. And Triple H basically, I don't know why, he says, you better not come to Mania. Hunter, Seth just said that. I don't know why, but I don't know why he needed to assure the fact that Seth Rollins should not go to Mania. But he assured him and said that if he does make it to Mania, it will be the worst decision of his life. The last thing that he'll ever do, such and such, you know. The promo that you would expect. But it was a good promo nevertheless. And, you know, Rollins replied passionately back saying that he will make it to Mania. Forget the doctors. He vows to be at Mania. And he said he got nothing left to lose, as he said before. And it's going to be the worst decision of Triple H's life. So, good take on it. They didn't beat down hurt Seth Rollins, so that was kind of weird to me. I don't know if I like that, but it's okay. I can't complain at everything in this show, right? Because next up, we have... I can't complain about this either. Big Show squash match against Shining Stars. Shining Stars, it's not like I have any expectations for them. But Big Show is looking really strong right now. And apparently his match with Shaq is off, so what are they going to do with that? Are they going to have him face Braun at Mania? Like, are they going to do it again? But I don't think their match will be as good as the one they put on last week on Raw, as it was one of the high points and highlights of the show. So is he going to be just left hanging off of Mania? Or are you just going to put him in the Battle Royal? I'm interested in to see what they're doing. Next, we had a Cruiserweight match in the third hour of Raw that got like 2 minutes. And it looks like the Cruiserweights are back to Abyss. And not Abyss from TNA. Abyss as in the dark hole of space that just fills up the universe. And I don't even... Oh, God. Disappointing. And then this Cruiserweight match involved your champion, the one we should be more invested in. Like, I don't want to take away from Akira Tozawa, but if you're going to put a Cruiserweight segment and you're going to make that... I mean, whatever Cruiserweight segment you're going to highlight the most... It should be around your champion, you know what I mean? Especially with the championship match coming up at Fastlane. And I know 205 Live isn't doing good, and I honestly haven't watched the last 2 weeks, so I couldn't tell you if it was doing good. But maybe I would watch it if you had more showcased on your champion instead of... Well, see, Raw has so much time. And they still manage to have squash and like little matches that don't mean nothing. Like when you have this much time and you give more time to New Day in a pointless ass match over your Cruiserweight champion, that is the problem of the product. That is the problem that we have in Monday Night Raw. The reason why the ratings drop. The reason why people aren't into it. The reason why people aren't tuning into 205 Live. That is the reason why. Not going to talk about that. I don't even... Neville watches, knees taps out as the Cruiserweights are back in the third hour and getting no time. That's what I wrote for the notes. But what I did see from this, and I said this when I first seen Tony Nese. Tony Nese and Adrian Neville would be a dope-looking tag team just because the way they look. They're both huge, short, brolic-ass guys. I mean, Neville is more of a high flyer. Tony Nese is more of the powerhouse. I wouldn't mind seeing that as a tag team. So, what do you guys think? What tag team would you make in the Cruiserweight division? Because I would probably make that a tag team today. Next, we had Joe and Cesaro, Samoa Joe and Cesaro talking backstage about how things are still the same. Cesaro still trying to find himself, and Joe is still ignorant, arrogant prick that he was back in the Indies. So now this teased, not the main event. I thought it was going to be the main event for a quick second. The match that Samoa Joe was going to fight Cesaro, and right off the bat, you say Samoa Joe, Cesaro in the same sentence on the same show. I am more than 100% invested in that. The match came on. The match came off. I think they got 5 minutes. Again, why are they not getting time, but you're putting time into pointless ass segments? That is the definition of frustration. And I said I wasn't going to get passionate about Raw, but here I'm getting passionate with hatred about Raw because this show pissed me the hell off. Let's see if I have any highlights for this match. He pinned Cesaro with the rock bottom looking move off the ropes. Didn't even use his damn finisher. And I put disappointing match. ... That's what it is. After that, Sami and Samoa Joe brawl. Sami does a nice, flip off the entrance while Samoa Joe was at the bottom of it. Cool. At the end of the day, Samoa Joe once again gets the upper hand. Who's going to win at Fastlane? You'll find out in like 5 minutes because I don't have much more to say about this. Now we got the contract signing. And yes, I guess Cesaro and Samoa Joe were technically the main event match. But they could have stole the show. Next, we got the contract signing, and again, this is where Foley reaches the breaking point of being disrespected and basically says, F the management position, I am a legend and you will respect me as that, because Braun Strowman basically, he was like, alright, you set this up, you have no need to be here, leave, and that's what pushed Mick Foley over his limit. And Roman Reigns came down as Braun looked like he was about to destroy Mick Foley, and it looks like Roman Reigns still is going to be a heel, hopefully he will going into Mania. He's going to need it against Taker. Spears Braun through the barricade. By the time he grabs the contract after Strowman is down, Strowman's back up. And eventually Strowman drives Roman into the top turnbuckle on the right corner, if we're watching from the regular angle, in the right corner. And that was creative. I'd never seen that before. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, the turnbuckle literally popped off, and it makes Braun Strowman look like a monster. But, you know, as Roman Reigns was down from that, Braun Strowman walks away, and Roman, on his knees, signs the contract. So, how do you guys feel about that? The one thing I wrote that is lucky for WWE is there was chants, and I didn't know if they said Strowman or Roman. So if anything works in the benefit of Roman Reigns being a face is they could easily mask those Strowman chants and consider them Roman chants. So I guess they got a win-win for that one, right? Now is going to lead into my... Hold on. Before I even get into my Fastlane predictions, you guys understand what I thought of the show, I would hope. It was terrible. Complete garbage. A waste of 3 hours. My highlights of the show, the contract signing. The women's match was pretty good. You hear that silence? It was nothing else. The opening promo, I guess. If you combine, the women's only had like 7 minutes, granted. The promo goes the average 12 to 15. So that's let's be generous and say 22 minutes. Then the contract signing, which I thought was okay. That got the last 10 minutes. 30 minutes out of a 3-hour show that I enjoyed. There's times where I want to give up on the show and stop watching it. I know EJ. I know when we were talking about doing the podcast, he was like, "Yeah, now I got a reason to watch Raw again." Because this is really what it came down to, and it's despicable, and I hate it. I hate it. But to end off on that note, here's my Fastlane predictions, and I'm going to tell you that. Well, I'm going to try to put it in the match order that I would do. Is what I would try to say. We have on the pre-show, Rich Swann and Akira Tozawa versus Brian Kendrick and Noam Dar with Alicia Fox. Easy choice. I would hope that the faces will win. I would think that's where they're going. Rich Swann been off TV, so I don't know how he kind of got involved, but I have no take on that. Faces win. Now, the first match of the card, what I think will happen, is going to be the Tag Team Championship match with the Enzo and Cass entrance, just because that always hypes up the crowd to begin the show. So Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus Enzo Amore and Big Cass for the Raw Tag Team Championship belts. I don't have Enzo and Cass winning here. I think it's going to be Luke Gallows and Anderson. If I would have Enzo and Cass win, I know they're going on this they won championships everywhere. We didn't even win in NXT. I would save that win for maybe Mania. If they would have played that whole angle this whole time, if Anderson and Gallows would have said that, but there really has been no even proper build to this, so I got the heels winning, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Next, I think the match would be Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax, and it's hard because I think they're definitely going into the Fatal 4-Way direction at Mania, and I want to say Sasha needs the win, but you can't have Nia looking weak going into Mania, so I'm going to have to pick Nia for that one. Just because she can't look weak going into Mania, unless Sasha pulls off a roll-up, which even then it's kind of a roll-up over somebody that big, or I can't see Nia tapping out, and I can't see Nia being, laid flat in the ring, so I don't expect any victory like that from Sasha Banks, at least. The third match of the day, I think, will be the Cruiserweight match, and I think that's the perfect spot for them as well. And I hope they put on a show, as they should, as they could, because I love Jack Gallagher, I love Neville. I don't know how his whole state of address or whatever it was called yesterday went. I might have to look at that after this. That's what I'll probably do. Because, again, I didn't watch 205 Live. If I don't see Neville versus somebody in a big match, I'm most likely not watching it. I really judge it by the matches they promote. So, I got Neville winning against Jack Gallagher just because Neville has to hold on to that championship for a very long time. Because all these cruiserweights flaked with the belt and held it for a few days. Now, Neville should hold this for a very long time, as he is the best thing in that cruiserweight division. Now, the next match, I think, will be Sami Zayn versus Samoa Joe. And Samoa Joe wins. I think this is... It's not a no-brainer. A lot of this card, if I give it anything, is unpredictable. But I'm sure they'll go the safe route as always. I got Samoa Joe winning. Samoa Joe got to look like a monster going into Mania. And I think he will end up fighting Zayn again at Mania. Unless... I don't know what they do with the main belt. Unless Kevin Owens keeps on to the Universal belt, then I see Jericho giving up the U.S. belt. Maybe they do something with that. Not too sure. If you guys want to know how I would book Mania, this is the perfect time to plug. Listen to my WrestleMania Dream Card episode 6, it was. literally, guys, I can't promote that enough. I thought it was amazing. The reception I got from it so far has been pretty good. I want you guys to go view that. Let me know what you thought of that. Please let me know. But yeah, I got Samoa Joe beating Sami Zayn, but it makes Sami Zayn look even more like a babyface if he's not destroyed, but he gives a valiant effort to, at the end of the day, be conquered by the monster of Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe been having a great booking so far. I can't see him losing his first pay-per-view match. Now, next we have, I would say, how would they do this order? Now, the last 3 matches are a toss-up how they would do the order, but let me not get too into that. I'll say the women's match would go 6th, I think. I'm pretty sure it's 6th match by now. Bayley, the champion, versus Charlotte Flair, and I do not see Charlotte Flair's record of 16-0, I think it is, pay-per-views, of winning. I don't see that ending now, and I think they're going to say that if they do it at Mania, and even they could get away with that if it's going to be the Fatal 4-Way. So I see Charlotte winning this match, getting her championship back, another hot potato with the women's championship, disappointing once again. They should have never had Bayley win the championship. I'm sorry. That was terrible. I think you should have waited for Mania for that moment, and I think that was a drag. And if you guys want to hear how I would book Bayley for Mania, check out episode 6 once again. No, I'm not going to plug it anymore, I promise. Maybe I will. I don't know. Next match I would have after that is Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman, with Braun winning. And I think Roman Reigns is going to get the Undertaker distraction, basically hyping up their match for Mania and making it an actual feud at that moment. And how I said I would do it in episode 6 is I would have Roman Reigns in the corner loaded up, and then all you hear is a dong. Or lights go out and dong, and people think Undertaker's coming out. Of course he doesn't. Undertaker doesn't pop up in the ring or nothing like that with his special powers. All it is it distracts Roman Reigns, and by that time, Braun Strowman's up, and he just reverses the spear, hits the running power slam. That's how I would do it. Championship match, I got Kevin Owens versus Goldberg. Obviously, it's going to be the last match. Now, is this match a toss-up? Some people say it is. Some people would say it's not. Goldberg's easily going to win. My heart wants to say Kevin Owens, but my mind and my knowledge of WWE is going to say Goldberg. The way I have it is Goldberg winning, and I have Goldberg losing to Lesnar at Mania. Then I have Strowman beating Brock at SummerSlam. That's how I see it. So, if it does anything, it makes the Universal title look more important, because as it has been, a secondhand commodity for the past, since it was invented. I mean, Finn Balor won it, and it kind of felt special. But then after that, when Owens won it, it still felt special. But after the feuds drawn into that, it didn't really have anything going for me. And I think for everybody, universally, ironically. And if Kevin Owens does hold on to it, I think a feud with him and Chris Jericho at the main event scene could benefit off of that too. But I just don't think they're going to do it. I think Chris Jericho, I don't think he's going to come out. I just think Goldberg is going to squash him. And it sucks because Kevin Owens really looking like a badass now. The only way I can see Kevin Owens win is if Brock Lesnar interferes. But it doesn't make sense why he would. Because he gets, instead of a match one-on-one with Goldberg, regular exhibition match, he gets a match for the championship. So what would you rather have, Brock? I know you're not that dumb. So in the end, I have Goldberg winning, getting the title. Although I don't like it, I could see how it benefits. I'm not going to be delusional to the fact. I would just rather be from Chris Jericho. I'd rather Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens feud for the main belt instead of the United States. But, I mean, it would bring prestige to the U.S. belt. So, if that does anything, and Kevin Owens would already be a Triple Crown champion, just needing the tag team belts, because he never got the United States, right? He didn't beat John Cena. So, that's my Fastlane. That's why I'm winning. Who do you guys have? Let me know down below and tell me, what do you think? Do you have any expectations for the card? Because after this poor-ass episode of Raw, I think on paper the card looks really good, but this was a very bad way of me getting hyped for the card. I'm way more excited for UFC 20. How I say UFC 20, and I don't even remember what card it is. I want to say 209. Whatever UFC event is this week. As I do an MMA podcast, you guys should hear that. A new video will probably be up Friday as we give our UFC 209, I think it is. It's the Woodley and Thompson, all right? I don't know numbers. I'm a casual fan. I got two MMA analysts that know it way more than I do. I just ask him questions and bullshit around, truthfully. But now off to the good show of Smackdown. I just want to start off by giving a salute to Smackdown, saying every week you guys manage to put on a great show. And I just want to show that I'm not negative to the product in general. I'm overall pretty positive. I always try to look at the bright side of things. But Smackdown really gives me hope every week of why I watch the product, and it reminds me. And I just want to shout it out and thank it. If you guys aren't watching Smackdown because you've seen the quality of Raw, trust me, watch SmackDown. Watch SmackDown, like, for real. Great. Starts off by Shane and Daniel Bryan watching the tape of the footage of the ending to last week's match of Luke Harper and AJ Styles being the last two contestants of the Battle Royal. And, the scene where they're falling off, and it's clear that Harper fell off. I mean, Styles fell off first, but the angle they show only indicates that they both fall and they don't have their feet hitting the ground. Even in that angle, you kind of tell AJ Styles was first, but whatever, let's forget about it because it happened, it's over with. And AJ Styles walks into them watching, and he's like, oh, it's a shame you guys don't have the other angle because you could see that I clearly fell last and Harper fell first. And it's funny because out of all people, AJ Styles didn't fall first. But then he starts cutting on Luke Harper, saying, I don't know why the match is still on. He said, I forgot the jokes he says exactly. I think he comes at his beard and then the way he smells. It was some actually funny jokes. And then you got like Daniel Bryan and Shane O'Mac hyping him up like, yeah, keep going. It's real good. Keep going. And then you got Harper behind AJ Styles. It just made for a funny little moment to start off the show. I enjoyed it. I liked it. But we start off the show for real with Miz TV and his guest, of course, John Cena. And if you compare the way that SmackDown starts and ends compared to where Raw starts and ends, even their big segments are so much better than Raw. Miz TV was amazing, and I think Miz TV is one of the greater, on what are they called? The Piper's Pit, the Chris Jericho show. Shit, damn, I can't remember anything right now, but. Damn, Edge and Christian too. Edge's cut. I can't remember shit right now. All right, but it's the better of those type of shows. Damn, Carlito. I think it was Carlito's Cabana. I remember Carlito's, but I don't remember Chris Jericho's. The highlight reel for Chris Jericho. But it's one of those shows, and I think Miz TV is really proving out to be one of the better ones because every time there is an episode, it's really good. And his guest is John Cena, and John Cena comes out. And as soon as he grabs the mic, Miz says, cut the mic. Let me talk. And he gives a passionate ass promo that I don't even want to say because I can't do it no justice. Watch the segment right now on YouTube. Find the episode. Do whatever you have to do. Find it. Hulu. Whatever the hell you have to do. Good ass promo. And it always feels like his promos are mixed with a little bit of reality into it as well. And he basically talks about how John Cena ruined his career for 10 years. How Cena is the guy who... We all have that one guy we work with or girl we work with that suckers up to the boss, smiles at the right moments, and John Cena is that guy. Even though you are the better, more qualified person, that John Cena is the one who gets the promotion and you're just another guy there. I like that aspect of it. And then he said how hypocritic he is for criticizing The Rock for going to Hollywood and forgetting about WrestleMania. About wrestling and about the fans. And then a few years later, he does the same thing. Beautiful angle again. It has been said before, but I feel like this was probably the best it was said. And then you got the crowd saying, you sold out. The difference in crowd was ridiculous too. You sold out chants coming from the crowd. And then how Miz was making SmackDown a must-see TV. But as soon as John Cena walks in, gets his championship shot right away, and he wins the belt, but he'll never be as good as Ric Flair was. He explains how he threw Cena out at the Battle Royal because he wanted Cena to feel the feeling of seeing your dream get away from you. The same feeling that The Miz felt for the last 10 years. You could see it, the way I'm talking about it. The way with everything I just said, that it was a great promo. Watch it for yourself, guys, for real. And Cena, great from him as well. I mean, he said he was going to shoot down everything that The Miz said and flip it on him. And then Cena responded by saying if he got everything he wanted, he wouldn't face Miz at Mania. He'll be facing The Undertaker. Fact. Tyson Kidd. Fact. Yeah, that's true. I mean, let's be real. He says that The Miz doesn't know who he is, and he's mad that John Cena does. He said The Miz is stealing moves, with Daniel Bryan's moveset, with the figure four lock. He said he's stealing personalities. He's a fake Chris Jericho. He's a fake this. He's a fake that. He said he's just if The Miz presses him again, that even though he didn't get his match with Undertaker, that Miz is going to be a dead man. I like the shot. I like basically the blurred lines of reality, because we know the Cena Taker match was supposed to happen, but it didn't. So I kind of like that. It was just, what can I say? It was just written great. SmackDown writers know what the hell they're doing, because I really think about it. It's not the talent that put SmackDown over. It is the time, but even sometimes I wonder, I feel like if SmackDown has Raw's time, I feel like they could still do a phenomenal job, no pun intended, with AJ Styles. But I still think they could do a great job because of the writing team behind it and the creative behind it. It's two different people. It's two different crews working on these shows, and it's evident. It's really evident. Great segment. Maurice, as Cena tries to walk out, Maurice basically says, you're not gonna disrespect my husband, you're egotistical. You know what they say about people with big egos, they got a small package. Then she followed that with a slap on John Cena, which he says you just made a big mistake, as Nikki Bella comes out. And I like the passion from Nikki Bella as she says, I'm gonna break you, bitch. SmackDown even uses the B word. Definitely get more down and dirty, and SmackDown, God, I'm not trying to feel like a SmackDown fanboy, but shit was great. Shit was real great. And then I questioned myself, are we supposed to be mad about Cena and Nikki versus Miz and Maurice anymore? Because this segment just got me so fucking invested. And I'm so excited. So very excited for the match at Mania with Nikki Bella and John Cena versus Miz and Maurice. Didn't think I'll be saying that. Didn't think I'll be saying that at all. And I think we need to get a main belt on Miz, like the title belt, like the World Championship belt. Because he's doing the best work he's ever done. Next up, we had Mickie James versus Becky Lynch, 2 out of 3 falls match. I think it's the best match they had so far. Mickie hit a DDT for the first fall. I think they called it a Mick DDT or Mickey DDT. I never heard it being called that, but she got the first pin. Becky got the next one with a roll-up. And when this, the battle for the third fall, Alexa comes out trying to distract Becky. While I think, Mickie was down for the count. And Becky was on top of her. And then Alexa Bliss came out, distracted the ref. And as she was trying to distract Becky and get in Becky's face, Mickie accidentally hit Alexa. And eventually leading to a series of roll-ups that got Mickie in trouble and in the disarmer as she tapped out. So Becky wins. After this, there was a Alexa Bliss and Natalya segment. And I think it's just to throw more contenders into the mix. As I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they do. And I think they could have, I don't know if Naomi will be cleared, but I see Alexa Bliss, Natalya, Becky, Mickie. That's 4 already. They could either do a Fatal 4-Way or a 6-pack challenge and throw in Carmella, and if she's cleared, Naomi. Because Nikki's going to be busy. So that's the direction they could go with this. It's still yet to be known, because that's what I kind of like from SmackDown too. Is kind of, we don't know where they're going for Raw, for WrestleMania. For all of a SmackDown, we do. I mean, for all of Raw, we do. We know about Roman's match. We basically know Seth Rollins and Triple H. We kind of know where Sami Zayn is going. He's probably going to face Samoa Joe. We know about Kevin Owens. We know about Goldberg and Brock. For this, all we know now was basically just hinted at, and it was the match with Cena and Miz. So, again, more unpredictability with SmackDown as well. Watch SmackDown. Make SmackDown great. Next, we had a Harper promo, still in the shed. Is it still called the compound? Still in the Wyatt compound looking area. Do you guys think if he's going to go solo, he should still keep this character? I don't know. I can't see him doing anything else. That's the problem. I mean, Braun Strowman, when he got away, he looked pretty good, but I don't know if Luke Harper can't go that same route. So I'm kind of interested in to see what they could do with Luke Harper shying away from Wyatt if he does actually shy away. I think he might actually join again. I got a theory on that. But, he talks about, Harper cuts a promo saying that Bray will fear him at Mania, hyping up the main event. Then Bray Wyatt, his promo follows right after Harper and talks that Bray Wyatt shit, that Randy is his blood and things like that. It's Bray Wyatt, the caterpillars crawl and run. Yeah, some shit like that. We also had AJ. I put this in my notes. He threw a shot and he was like, isn't it convenient that the camera angle couldn't get the other side? Anyways, it's just, I like that. I like that fourth wall breaking. It's something like Deadpool, almost comedy behind it. Then we had Harper versus Styles. Did I miss a match? Am I bugging? No. It was the second match of the day, yep. 2 matches one match in Raw in the first hour. This is the first match of the second hour. We had Harper versus Styles put on an amazing match. Harper shows every time that he's very good in the ring, and Styles, he can't put on a bad match if he literally tried to. They had a nice Pele kick with Harper laying on the apron, and AJ Styles hit it from being outside the ring. I thought that was a real dope spot. Then we had too much amazing shit that I could possibly note. Literally, there was a nice series going on for 2 minutes that was too good for me to write down every move. Harper's agility really showed throughout this whole match as he was doing drop kicks. He did flipped over the ropes. Unreal shit from Harper. He suicide dive, I'm pretty sure, as well. Ridiculous. I think he's an amazing wrestler, and he was really getting the credit he deserves right now, so good for him. Then we had the phenomenal forearm coming from AJ Styles. 1, 2, 3. AJ Styles wins, but wait. Shane McMahon comes out, restarts the match because Harper did have his foot on the rope. So we have the Shane and AJ tension building up. Where would that go? Are we getting that at Mania? Is Shane going to find somebody to face him at Mania? I think that still might be in the cards. But Shane comes out, reverses the decision, restarts the match. All for AJ Styles to just win again with a 450 splash. So AJ Styles won. Now, I thought this was a clear decision that Harper was going to win. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know in what way they could do it, truthfully. So, interesting. Again, surprising, caught me off guard. I can't judge it. I would have liked Harper to win, but I'm not going to root against AJ. That's not what I came here to do. AJ Styles in the main event, or one of the main events of Mania. Is that what's going to happen? Because then we have no Shane versus AJ match, which I will be glad not to see. So, that's my opinion on that. Great match. Watch it for yourself, for real. Now, I had a problem with Smackdown. One of my only problems. The announcer team promoted Fastlane. I don't know if this should be a problem. I just want to know how you guys feel about it, actually. Because I feel like if they were true brands, truly having that fight of fighting for ratings, fighting for this, fighting for that, fighting for championships, why would you promote the other brand? That's my only problem with it. So, how do you guys feel about that? Do you feel like it's a little, takes you out of it? Kind of does for me. I know EJ had a complaint that they were showing, not Fastlane, but the pay-per-view before this. I forgot when we were watching. But they were promoting, they were promoting Elimination Chamber on Raw. And he had a problem with that. He just never brought it up. And yeah, things like that. I would like if they just kept it strictly SmackDown, no other promotion of brands. They could promote 205 Live, they could promote NXT, whatever, but no promoting of Raw. I just think that would do something for me. What do you guys think? Let me know. Next up, we had Cena and Nikki backstage, and then Carmella and James Ellsworth interrupts them, and it's officially announced that they will fight next week. James Ellsworth a little scared to come at Cena, but I think that's entertaining, and it's a match announced a week before, which I always love. So I'm actually kind of excited to see that next week. We finally get to see the James Ellsworth and John Cena face off. Next match we had was Ambrose. Came into the ring. I didn't even know he was fighting. Literally just threw him to the ring. I thought he was going to cut a promo. Found out somebody was in there. I was like, okay, a local jobber. DDTs him. The match doesn't happen. Find out it's not a local jobber. It's Kurt Hawkins. I don't know why you bring back Kurt Hawkins from, doing his thing on the indie scene to just ruin his character on WWE. Like, not like he was already not ruined before he left WWE, but pointless to even bring him up. You could have just had a jobber do that spot, to be honest. Had a jobber face Mojo Rawley. Had a jobber get this DDT by Ambrose. It's been pointless. That's a complaint on SmackDown, I guess, right? But eventually Ambrose cut his promo saying he wants Braun Strowman. Baron Corbin's ass. He wants to fight him right now, right here. Calls him out. Baron Corbin's appears, but on the big screen, saying that he's not going to do that. He's going to fight when he wants to fight. The very heel thing of, I'm going to fight when I want to fight, whenever I want to fight, this, and that. Cool, whatever. It builds on the feud, and very, very excited for this. Can't wait. Can't wait for the Corbin and Ambrose match, as I do have Corbin winning. I think Corbin's going to win for sure. Next, we had Apollo Crews versus Dolph Ziggler chairs match. And we actually had Crews attack Ziggler during his entrance, showing a little fierce side of him. Match was pretty good. It wasn't the best. It was okay. Best match that they had together so far, I guess. We had a standing moonsault with the steel chair over Ziggler. That was a cool spot. But it wasn't even that long of a match. After a rake to the eyes, followed by a trip that led to Apollo Crews hitting his throat. All Dolph Ziggler did was, I think he rolled him up or he hit a move or something on him. Yeah, that's really it. It was... Oh, yeah, he also laid Apollo Crews' nuts in between the chair, so that too. And then I think he rolled him up. I know he didn't hit a zigzag or anything with that super kick, no. Then we had the main event, and it was Wyatt's Invocation. And I guess not considered a main event match, whatever. I think they should have put the Harper match last. If I was WWE, I don't know why you put that in the beginning of the second hour. But nevertheless, we had the Wyatt Invocation. Now this left me off SmackDown with such a great taste in my mouth. So what we had was, Wyatt come out and about to cut a promo, and then he cues Randy. And now Randy is in Wyatt's playground. He's in the compound. He's in the shed. He's in whatever you want to call it. And he cuts a promo saying, this is the life of a Wyatt. But it's not his. And then you got the theme music in the background, like epic horror music. And it was kind of creepy. And he was like, but it's not mine. And then he turned on Wyatt. It happened. It really happened. And happened on a random episode of SmackDown, making you be more, basically giving you more of a feeling to why you should see Raw and more of a reason why, I'm sorry, not Raw, SmackDown, why you should watch SmackDown, because you never know what's going to happen any given night. Whether it be unpredictability, whether it be a championship being crowned, or whether it be a big turn on their partner. But Randy Orton explains this is Wyatt's life, but not his. That this house is buried on top of Sister Abigail. And he asks, like, how long has the maggots been eating on top of her flesh? And creepy shit like that. And I liked it a lot. And it was real corny and cheesy. I think it reminded me of the Hardys, but I really haven't seen too much of the Hardys gimmick. I know the whole broken gimmick, obviously, is one of the biggest things in wrestling, but I haven't seen too much of it. I try to watch that whole, the first thing, the Broken Hardy storyline, like the big thing that came out of it, the Hardy and Jeff shit. And I couldn't get into it. I didn't know if it was trying to be good at that time. I didn't know too much about it. I know EJ just sent me the link, and he was like, this is the greatest thing ever. And I was like, I think you're joking. I don't know. Like, I never really paid too much attention to it, but I do appreciate that Matt Hardy does that, and he does something different. But nevertheless, it had that type of feel to it. And then he says that Randy said that he would never face Bray as long as Bray was the master and Randy was his servant. And he said, that role is no longer there. I am the master and you, Bray, are my servant. So, ridiculous. I'm sorry you heard my phone ring. That's the group chat for the Triangle podcast. I just keep throwing plugs for all my other podcasts. Triangle podcast talking NBA. You guys can catch that on All the Above ENT every Sunday. But now, still on the segment, we have Randy basically not snapping, but it was all part of his plan. He says that if you can't beat him, join him. And then I forgot what he said exactly. I didn't write it down, but he said and when you can beat him, leave him, or some shit like that. And then he pours gasoline on everything in the compound shed, whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm going to call it the shed. That's what it was. Pours it on the walls. Pours it on Sister Abigail, or where she is claimed to be. Pours it on his illustrious rocking chair. Pours it on the outside of the shed, and he lights it on fire. And then you have Bray Wyatt snapping, losing his shit in the ring. I think he even says, "I'ma kill you, Randy." Surprised they let that fly over SmackDown, but no complaints here. Then we had we had Randy Orton doing his taunt, the two arms in his air with the fire shed in the background. It was an amazing segment. Watch it for yourself once again. It is cheesy, poorly acted, but it was fun and it was very WWE. At the end of the day, it's entertainment. It's wrestling entertainment. It's part of the damn brand. Great. I loved it. I loved it. I really did. You had I think the last image of the night was Bray Wyatt just basically huddled against the announcer's table and just losing his shit. His eyes, he looks like he's about to cry. And great acting from Bray, if we want to give it anything. A great episode of SmackDown. A great episode of SmackDown. If I could have one complaint for SmackDown, it would be that there's not too much action, to be honest. I don't mind it, though. But, there's not many matches, as there was 3 matches on this card. And, I guess you could say 4, can you? With the Kurt Hawkins and Ambrose, that wasn't really a match, you know what I mean? So, as somebody who is interested into your opinion, is it worth buying a ticket there to just see promos that you end up going to see on the big screen of SmackDown? I'm kind of interested in hearing your input on it. Is it worth buying a ticket? And should there be more fighting, less promo? I like the way it is, but for the people there, I feel like. I guess they do get their money's worth for 205 Live, as I think they tend to put on 3 matches on that. So, I don't know. I'm interested to see what you guys got to say about that. But that's my take on SmackDown, on Raw, on my predictions for Fastlane. And I just want to talk about some news for the week, and that news is, 2 news actually. Shout out to Beth Phoenix, the Glamazon, for being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Shouts out to you. I got to witness you in the very beginning of your career, and then when I fell out is kind of when you had your shine, but nevertheless, I do remember you eliminating Great Khali, and I know you were too ahead of your time, and you would have fit more into the division perfectly now, but unfortunately you weren't there. So, but congrats to you making it to the Hall of Fame. I probably am actually going to watch. I never seen a Hall of Fame show in my life because I never was interested that much. I would only care for the headliner. But this Hall of Fame, you got DDP, you got Beth Phoenix, you have the main one who I can't remember right now off the top of my head, and I don't know why the hell I can't remember. Who the hell is the headliner of this year's Hall of Fame? What the hell is wrong with me? Oh, nah, I gotta look this up. Sorry. I know you got the Rock and Roll Express. I don't know why I remember them more than the headliner. Let me see. What the hell? I'm going blank right now. Let's see how quick I can type. Hall of Fame, WWE. Who the hell is the headliner? Kurt Angle. Duh. As you hear me fall back in my chair. We got Kurt Angle. We got DDP. We got Beth Phoenix. We have Rock and Roll Express. Is there any more? Damn. Rock and Roll Express. Teddy Long as well. So, looking pretty stacked so far, and I'm very interested to see how it's going to go, and I'm probably going to watch it also so I could give my take on it to you guys, because I love talking on this now. You're never going to stop me talking. But the other news I have is the Hardys aren't signing back with TNA. I know Jeff Hardy had the basically contract discussions fall out a little earlier than Matt did. Matt ended up having more serious talks, but when they made up a contract and they said they want 10% of his pay outside of TNA, which is how he makes a lot of his money, independent signings, merchandise, and things like that, and they wanted 10% of that cut. His manager said he'll be a fool to sign, and it looks like the Hardys are free agents, the biggest free agents right now, and I'm very excited to see where they go. I can't see them going to New Japan because that broken system, I know there's confusions around who has the gimmick, who doesn't. I know Matt Hardy has the name Broken Matt Hardy, but I think TNA might have the gimmick, so I don't know where if that's gonna be any troubles. But I feel like WWE could cook up something very similar. but I can't see that type of style being in New Japan. So that's good. I don't see them going to New Japan. ROH, is that big enough for them? Like, they don't even I don't know where ROH gets viewed on, like TV-wise. So I'm going to be interested. WWE might have to be the destination for them, and I'm excited because I've been dying for Jeff Hardy back, out of all people, to be honest. I think I'm more excited for Jeff Hardy than Matt Hardy, but if Matt Hardy can be taken serious in WWE, if he could get that gimmick over, which I think he can, it's the matter of fact of WWE actually doing it right, I think it'll be great, and I could see him fighting New Day, and what I wouldn't mind either, if he has this broken gimmick, Matt Hardy versus Bray Wyatt. That's my take on that. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen in these next few months. You know, I could definitely see the Hardys on, I got to say, the Raw brand, man. I got to say the Raw brand. I think that would be a great fit for them. But that's going to be the closing to the show. I just want to let you guys know that it's not only going to be wrestling talk all the time. We will be having, well, obviously it's going to be wrestling talk all the time, but it's not going to be Raw recaps, Smackdown recaps in this order all the time. When EJ comes on the show, you know, EJ, if you guys don't know who that is one of my bros, one of my brothers, who he was on the first 2 episodes, and right now he's in New York. He is coming back up to live here. I live in PA. It's not too far of a drive. He comes up here and there, but he will be living up here soon, which means more podcasts very soon, hopefully in span of 3 months, most likely Mayish, and it's gonna be great, and we're gonna have, you know, list and debates. I have a few ideas for some debates where I'll go more into detail when the time comes, but I want your intake on things, your input. As I am alone for the time being, would you guys like another person here? My friend hit me up. If you guys know Jesus from the other 2 podcasts, Triangle and First Strike podcast. Very funny guy. He doesn't know WWE too much. He fell out in the Attitude Era. Like, after the Attitude Era ended, he was for a bit of ruthless aggression, and then he kind of fell out. But he said he's more than welcome to come host my podcast and ask me questions here and there. I just don't know because he doesn't watch the product daily. Would you guys like that, though? So you guys let me know down below if you feel this podcast needs another person for the time being until EJ gets here. Also, would you guys want me to review 205 Live and NXT? And if I did, would you guys want it to be on this podcast, or would you guys want a separate podcast for, like, the little off entities of WWE? You let me know down below. My voice is tired as hell. You can hear it. It's getting real raspy. I ran out of power already, like, the first 20 minutes. I have pizza here that's been cold for the last hour. I had it in the very beginning of the show. I put it in the oven, too, and everything. It was pizza from yesterday. Let me just take a sip of the Powerade. I literally just drank, like, the very last sip. All right, guys, I'm done. I'm done for the day. Hour podcast. It didn't go to hour 10. So at least it's that. I hope you guys enjoyed. My voice is really deep at this point. It's not this deep. I'm just a kid. I'm 18 years old. But you guys have a good week. I will be back to discuss the Fastlane, my review. I'll probably get that out Monday. Unless I work, then I might have to record it that night. Maybe even get it out Sunday. I'll try my hardest for you guys. For real, I do go to school, do have work. So you guys let me know down below in the comments. Tell me how you feel. Tell me about the podcast. Leave your comments down below. You can find us everywhere on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube under the name All of the Above ENT. I need some rest. You guys have a good one. I'm out.